Since 2002, the Cascade Medical Team has been traveling to Guatemala. In 11 years, we have treated over 21,000 patients. Most are of Mayan Indian descent and are among the country's poorest. We are a member of HELPS International, a nationwide organization whose goals include alleviating poverty, addressing medical issues, and promoting community development within Guatemala's rural indigenous regions. In this time of controversy over illegal immigration, people of Latin America's most destitute countries are driven to leave their homes, take great risks, and travel long distances because of poverty and basic human survival. If individuals are economically self-sufficient and their families are healthy, the reasons for seeking work in other countries are significantly reduced. In 2013, the Cascade Medical Team, with the support of HELPS International, traveled to Guatemala on its 14th and 15th missions, one in late February and the second in mid-June. Our team is headquartered in Eugene, Oregon, but historically we have had members from all over the United States who have learned about our organization through our reputation and word of mouth. In 2013, there were 80 of us on the winter mission and 86 of us on the summer mission. It took us nearly a year to prepare for these two missions. First, we had to recruit individuals in medically related fields, each willing to pay $2,000 for transportation, meals, and lodging, as well as donate a week and a half of their time. Next, we had to raise over $90,000 to pay for medicine and supplies. And months in advance of each of the two missions, we had to begin to meticulously pack over 60 team bags filled with needed supplies that would accompany each of the two missions. We flew to Guatemala over a weekend. Our general route of travel took us from each member's home state to Houston, Texas, and then on to Guatemala City. When we arrived in Guatemala, we were taken to a local hotel where we spent our first night in country. The next morning, we boarded buses and spent 3 hours traveling to the site where we would be treating patients. For the past 2 years, we have been housed at the Intervita compound located about 90 miles northwest of Guatemala City in the beautiful Guatemalan highlands. It is a region occupied for thousands of years by the Mayan people. For both the winter and summer missions, we were fortunate to have advance teams go down several days early and work with staff from HELPS International to start setting up the Intervita site. While our teams were traveling to Guatemala, our patients had already begun to get in line at the Intervita compound in hopes of treatment. Some had traveled more than 50 miles and had come by bus, van, in the back of pickup trucks, or had walked. Their medical complaints ranged from the aches and pains of hard work to surgical needs to repair hernias, cleft lips and palates, remove gallbladders, address urinary problems, and restore sight through the removal of cataracts. Numerous patients had horrible burns caused by falling into open cooking fires or by hot liquid spilling from pots cooking beans and corn. They were in need of plastic surgery to restore mobility and to repair disfigurement. When we arrived at the Intervita site, we retrieved our luggage, found our dorm rooms, and then helped the advance team make final preparations at the medical clinic and hospital. On Sunday, our first task was to screen patients for possible surgeries which would begin on Monday and continue through Friday. Some patients had been referred for surgery by previous HELPS International missions. Other patients had heard about our Jornada Medica, or Medical Day, via radio or notices placed at community centers and churches.
No, I don't need it automatically.
Throughout the week, patients in the line outside the compound were sorted according to medical needs, given a bracelet that identified the type of medical treatment they were seeking, and then admitted into the compound and taken to the triage table. Those who worked at the outside triage line saw the mix of hope and despair among those waiting in line. They also saw a great mix of people wearing traditional Mayan clothing and others in more Western-style dress. At the triage table, each patient was asked to identify in more detail one main medical complaint. The patient form was filled out, and they were assigned to a specific treatment line, which included pediatrics, general medical complaints, gynecological complaints, and dentistry. During the summer mission, we were able to expand our services to include treatment for vision problems and fitting patients who had previous hand amputations with prosthetic hands. Once the patients were sorted by medical needs, they were taken to the clinic for treatment. Over the 2 medical missions in 2013, the clinic treated a total of 1,936 patients in pediatrics, general medicine, gynecology, dentistry, and during the summer mission, treatment for vision problems.
One that has 93.
So this bump is assist.
Aquí está bien.
patients identified for surgery were referred to the hospital to meet with a surgeon. If the patient was deemed a candidate for surgery and found to be qualified physically, he or she was then scheduled and given instructions related to the time of arrival and restrictions on the intake of food and liquid. During both missions, our surgeons repaired hernias, removed gallbladders, performed various gynecological procedures, and performed plastic surgery that ranged from treating the scarring of burns to the removal of debilitating and disfiguring growths. A total of 213 surgeries were performed during the 2 medical missions. The summer team included an ophthalmologist who performed cataract surgery, restoring the sight to numerous adults. In addition, he assisted a Guatemalan ophthalmologist in removing a cataract from a 3-year-old child who had been blind since birth.
Ready? Oh, he's gonna kick it.
After surgery, each patient was first taken to recovery and then to the ward, where they spent 1 or 2 days before being released. During both the winter and summer missions, through the sponsorship of Helps International, we offered training programs for local midwives who are called comadronas. The goal of the program was to help the comadronas improve their skills in delivering and treating newborn children. During the 2 missions, a total of 46 midwives attended the training sessions. From Monday to Friday, on both medical missions, the community development teams went out to local towns and villages to install O'Neill highly efficient wood-burning stoves and to distribute O'Neill water filters. Both the stoves and water filters were purchased by the receiving families. As they passed through the towns and villages, they saw firsthand the mix of Mayan and Spanish cultures. Many of the men and women still wore the hand-woven corte, or skirt-like cloth wrapped around their bodies, while others were dressed in more Western-style clothing. The community development teams had the unique experience and privilege of being able to go into the villages and homes of individuals who had purchased stoves and water filters sold through Helps International. The construction team members were able to see firsthand the living conditions of the people the Cascade Medical Team had come to serve. Some homes they entered in order to install stoves had dirt floors with wood, cornstalk, or adobe siding. Other homes had cement floors and cinder block walls. All had either corrugated iron or tile roofs. Many of the homes were simple dwellings with a cooking area, a bed, and a few items of furniture in a single room. Often a loom for weaving was nearby. It was not uncommon for the community development teams to find three-stone cooking fires in these homes. These three-stone fires are unvented, use large amounts of firewood, and cause the accumulation of creosote on the ceilings. They fill the homes with toxic smoke, leading to a high rate of respiratory and eye problems among the inhabitants. Falls by children and adults into the fires have caused horrific burns. In other homes, the community development or stove teams encountered large stoves that had been installed through Guatemalan government programs. While these stoves were vented to the outside and certainly less dangerous than the three-stone fires, they still consumed large amounts of firewood and often leaked smoke from around the grill and stovepipe. Helps International has sought to address the problems caused by these types of cooking fires through the sale of O'Neill stoves. Developed by American engineer Don O'Neill. These stoves are highly efficient, consuming 70% less wood than the open cooking fires and government stoves. They are vented to the outside of the home, and the design greatly reduces the risk of burns. The O'Neill indoor stove is called a plancha. It is estimated by Helps that the installation of one plancha, or indoor stove, can improve the health conditions of an average of 10 family members. During the two missions, the community development teams installed a total of 113 indoor or O'Neill plancha stoves. The two teams also installed a total of 126 outdoor O'Neill Nishtamal stoves, also designed by Don O'Neill. Like the indoor stoves, the Nishtamal, which is primarily used for cooking beans, is highly efficient. The reduction in wood consumption of the native forest by both these stoves has a twofold impact. They greatly reduce the use of trees for fuel, and they also significantly reduce the time devoted to gathering firewood. In addition to installing home stoves, the teams installed 2 institutional wood-burning stoves in 2 schools. The community development teams also distributed 133 water filters to families and 10 to schools. Much of the water in Guatemala is contaminated, leading to a host of parasitic diseases among the rural population. In addition, many people consume bottled sugared drinks as an alternative, leading to a high rate of tooth decay. Providing filtered water addresses this problem. One of the great privileges of members of the community development teams was their direct contact with people in their homes. It provided not only an opportunity to better appreciate the daily lives of the people that Cascade Medical Team serves, but it also gave the families and community development team members opportunities to observe each other, sometimes with curiosity and often with humor. Summer is the rainy season in Guatemala, and occasionally both the community development team and the on-site medical teams encountered torrential rainstorms, including this one that occurred while our construction team was in the rural area outside Nawala. Because of the long-term improvement of the home environment through the elimination of smoke-filled rooms, the reduction in risk of serious burns, the significant reduction in cutting of trees for firewood, and providing clean water through filtration, the community development teams have played a role equally as important as our medical teams. Though small in number, we couldn't have survived without our MacGyvers. These jacks of all trade repaired medical equipment, unclogged toilets, and performed other feats of magic that kept the team going. The last group was certainly not the least, and perhaps one of the most important, the culinary crew. These incredibly dedicated people were up at 5:30 in the morning in order to prepare breakfast and were often not out of the kitchens until well after 8 p.m. in the evening. Over the course of 2 7-day sessions, the culinary crew prepared a total of 4,996 individual meals. On Saturday, after 5.5 intense days of providing medical care, we packed our unused supplies and stored them at the Intervita compound. In the afternoon, we boarded buses to the town of Panajachel, located on the northern shore of Lake Atitlan, to spend a few hours decompressing. That night, after returning to the compound, we were entertained by musicians and young dancers from the nearby community of Santa Lucia, Utatlan. On Sunday morning, we left the Intervita compound and were bused to the historic town of Antigua. Originally built as the first capital of Guatemala in 1524, this wonderful little city provided the teams with an opportunity to spend 2 days relaxing and taking advantage of numerous adventures. On Sunday evening, the winter team was able to observe a religious parade marking the start of Lent. While in Antigua, team members went bicycle riding, climbed a volcano, went ziplining,
Good job, Holly.
toured a local coffee plantation, went birding, and some traveled to northeast Guatemala to see the incredible ruins of Tikal. On Tuesday evening, Helps International hosted banquets honoring both the winter and summer team.
So tonight I have 5 awards to give you to those of you who have served our country in 10 trips.
Thank you. Express my gratitude to our translator team, especially our teenagers this year.
Well, I want to thank you, all of you, for changing so many lives, for touching even us. We think we changed because of you. You taught us so many things. You taught us how to be so humble and help other people. It's not even your people, it's our people. It's not your country, it's our country. And thank you for taking your time and for coming and helping us. Thank you for all the things you taught us, and thank you for everything.
And for all of us on the kitchen crew, we really want to tell you how very, very proud we are to be able to do what we can for all of you on the medical teams and the construction teams, for what you do to all the people you serve. And
I'm speaking for all of us med students as I say this. The support that we received from you guys and the lessons we learned and the things that we saw, I mean, it's way more than I ever expected.
So one of the best things about this trip is what you can learn, and it's not what you learn in your own department, it's what you learn beyond what you do every day and what you were trained to do and what you were assigned to do on this mission. So Thank you to everyone on this trip that says do something outside the box, and if you suck at it one day, it doesn't matter, come back and try it again tomorrow. So thank you for the people that...
There were numerous moments where the Spanish language tripped me up, but there was one moment where you didn't have to speak the language, you didn't have to say anything. It was when the ophthalmologist and his son were putting the prosthetic hand on an individual who had lost his forearm and hadn't had that use, obviously, for 10 years. And we were in the triage area doing vitals outside, and individuals started moving very quickly into the bodega, and it's where they were putting the prosthetic hand on. And obviously, we're like, what's going on? So we ran over, and I'm behind the fence. I was in the back of the group, and he's writing his name with his right hand for the first time in 10 years. And I shouldn't be telling this, it really should be the ophthalmologist. And then he goes and writes in Spanish, "Thank you for the prosthetic hand." And they put a fork in his hand. He ate a meal, and I'm back there going, just like Thomas, there's onions in this room or something? Like, something's going on, I don't know. But moments like that where it was great humility, but it was moments of pride where you could see the good that individuals were doing. And just thank you for the example that you all gave, and for all the med students that we could hopefully continue that example and that lifestyle for others in the future. So thank you very much.
And I don't speak Spanish, but suddenly the father burst out crying. And of course, my first thought was, oh, what's wrong here, right? So Teresa, luckily speaking Spanish, went up to him and said, what's going on? And he's in tears, and he's saying, I'm just so happy for my son. So that set the tone for the week for me. Thanks.
And as the pictures were being taken, I felt the little girl's hand slide around my back and touch me. And it petrified me, and it melted me inside. It was really special. And you know, I think of this Mayan saying that I heard, that you are the other me, and I am the other you. And never was it so evident to me at that moment. And the connection and the kinship I felt was incredible. And that's my story. Thank you.
HELPS International founder and CEO Steve Miller spoke at both banquets and provided team members with further insight into the impact they made.
I wanted to just say thank you for coming to Guatemala and for being on this team. You probably don't know the good that you did this week. Understand that since 1988, what you do and other people do have touched approximately 40% of the indigenous population. It doesn't mean that we've touched every one, but every patient that you touch has 10 people in family and neighbors and everybody around that person that now knows that a hospital is a place you go to get well, not to die. There's nothing like you guys. Because when you come in and you take a baby from a mother and a father, you look funny, act funny, smell funny, and you talk funny. And you take the child and you kill it and you fix it and you raise it from the dead and you give it back to that family. There is no bigger trust factor than I could ever do in any dream I'd ever have, than the work that you do with a family. My hat's off to you and your families and your businesses and everything else that allow you to come here. So thank you, God bless you all, and come back next year.
On Wednesday, after spending nearly 2 weeks in Guatemala, the teams flew home. The time spent on the flights gave members of the teams an opportunity to reflect on the beauty of Guatemala and its people. It was also a time to reflect on what they had accomplished.
This is an unbelievable opportunity to make a difference to a lot of people. They accomplished so much here.
it's going to be impossible to go home having all that I have had all of my life and not think about these people and how hard every single day is for them.
What I've come to find out today was that the moments that I wasn't lost, the moments that I wasn't unsure, was when I was connecting with those people and helping them. You know, I don't know what tomorrow's going to bring, but I know right this moment that that's good enough for me to be here and to be of service.
Until you've been here, you can't understand or know what it's like to help people in this way. It's such a different experience, and it's so enriching.
I would say just jump in with both feet. It's something that will change your lives, and it really has. And you meet wonderful people from all over the United States. So it's just been a tremendous experience, and it is life-changing.
It's a real pleasure. They're extraordinarily appreciative people and very sweet people, and very grateful for when you help them.
This is my 10th medical mission in 4 years. Everything that you do here, you feel like you really are making a difference. You see these instant results. You see the way you change people's lives. Having somebody just listen and care, it just feels great to be a part of something that's causing and creating such real change for these people.
Mayan people are gracious and kind, loving. Love transcends more than wealth. They have nothing, but they love their family. I helped change some lives, but it changed my life forever.
I can't imagine not being back, and I can't imagine what my life was like without this. It's a gift of humility.
This is a whole different world. The need is so much greater here, and you just feel so much more needed, and you can do so much more for the people here.
I have so much that to not give it back somehow seems crazy to me. I'm working extremely hard, and it's so gratifying. I love every single minute of it.
Every person I see is just overflowing with gratitude and blessings, and you know, God will bless you because you've been present.
No necesita mucho dinero, solo con el pasaje, solo con el tiempo le damos y nos dan las medicinas, y gracias, te agradezco a los doctores de los Estados Unidos y muchas gracias.
If you were a member of one of this year's Cascade Medical Team's missions, we ask you to spread the word about the work we do and the unique and memorable experiences you had. If you are viewing this video with an interest in joining us, we encourage you to go to our website and learn more. The website address is www.cascademedicalteam.org. Remember, the life you change may be your own.